for watching Talking About. I'm John Griffith, and I'm here with...
JC Alvarez. What's up?
Just kind of hanging out and figured we'd chew the fat for a little while.
Well, you know what? It's we don't do these often. We don't do like chat sessions where we kind of like sit and bring each other up to date on what we're doing, because usually we have guests on and
Right.
and it's about the guests.
It's always about the guests.
It's always about the guests. That's what we like to do. But it's like there's something I want to bring up to you that I think is like really amazing, because we just recently revamped our website.
Right.
And the website is
www.talkingabout.info.
Exactly.
And
yeah, and there's something like lately that's been happening with the internet, which is such an amazing avenue for entertainment and information, and really it's just changed and grown so much just even in the last couple of months. Like now it's not just a venue where you go and you check out things that you want to learn about and where you have all this endless information. You get all of your entertainment on there.
yes, or at least a good amount of it, more and more so. And you can, a few days after something airs on broadcast, you can see it on the internet with fewer commercials.
Well, even
often.
our shows.
Yes, our shows, we have about 100 segments on the internet right now.
Absolutely.
Out of 177. So I'm working on it.
Now, one of the things that's also really interesting about the internet, and I'm just starting to get into this whole new thing, is how popular podcasting is.
Yes.
It's a lot of people don't even know what podcasting is. Do you know what podcasting is?
Yes, I do, actually. Have a little bit of knowledge on it.
About what podcasting is?
Well, podcasting is either an audio or video, blog, interview, monologue, dialogue, however you want to blog, anything, podcast.
It's amazing how much it's blown up that it's become onto its own self a form of entertainment.
Right, and you can download these segments to your portable device, whether it be an iPod or an equivalent item.
iPhone, everything.
Set up a subscription, have it download to you on a regular basis if you choose to.
Right.
And listen to your favorite podcaster every weekday, however often they put the segments out.
Yeah.
And I try to put, we usually tape 2 shows a month, so every other week I try and put something up on our site.
Right.
Just for you, really. It's not for me, it's for you.
Because we like to be moved around. We like to be mobile.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's like I've been doing a lot of podcasting because just recently I started doing my own podcast show on Here Networks, and that'll be premiering soon, and I invite everyone to catch that. But it's kind of amazing because you can find podcasts about everything.
Yes.
I mean, everything. You know that, right?
Yes.
They're not just about comedy or stuff like that. I mean, it's like if you have
news, information, naughty things, happy things.
Naughty things
it's where my brain goes.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And celebrities have their own podcasts too.
Yes.
Like, well, everyone knows that Rosie O'Donnell has her own sort of like video pod that she does and her blog segments.
Yes.
But it's like you can find podcasts on everything and anything out there. And it's just brilliant to me that this has turned into its own sort of like entertainment outlet that everyone has access to and everyone can do.
Yeah, it's fairly simple. You don't have to be all that tech savvy.
Well.
Yeah, maybe tiny bit, but not as much as you would think.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you could probably master it in half an hour with somebody just to get something basic done.
And it all starts with a really, really good idea and something entertaining, because you want to make sure you have repeat listeners and you want to be able to contribute, because your podcast has to have a certain kind of semblance. Because it's like, as much as I found really great podcasts, I found some really awful things out there.
Well, there's nothing worse than something that should be mentioned in 30 seconds to 2 minutes that's stretched out to an hour, half an hour, or 90 minutes. I've been guilty of it myself, so that's how I know. I've done some really painfully long segments. With the best of intentions, just you just get into.
You don't know when to cut out.
You get into overflow.
I'm a fan, and there are so many god awful like fan sites out there for like your favorite performer, and they're like just some where they're just like, I mean, I don't like to plug things that exist, but I ran across a podcast for Gossip Girl. And I had to listen because it's like, it's like a major train wreck.
Right.
But you know what? I listened. I did. But but basically what we're trying to say.
What's the thing about train wrecks is sometimes you just can't turn away.
Tell me about it. I mean, really. But the great thing about podcasting is that now with the internet, everyone has sort of like a voice, or you have your own avenue for sort of like doing your own thing or saying your own thing. And it's kind of like, it's amazing to me that the internet has changed, sort of like revolutionized our entertainment, where now we're like kind of like the contributing celebrities. You know, all of a sudden, everyone's got a voice. Everyone's got a point of view that matters. And people can really take advantage of doing that on the internet.
Yeah, it's not just about nut shots on YouTube.
Hey, no, it's, you know, whatever floats anyone's boat, you know. But it's like it's just amazing to me, and just how it's just boomed. I mean, it's like the internet really has changed, even in this election year.
Yes.
Like I was mentioning to you, just like, you know, Barack Obama had opened up and introduced his VP via text messaging.
Yes, that's
genius.
It is. Of course, it came in the middle of the night.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, trust me, there are hundreds of people out there just sitting there waiting to get this message. I'm sure people were just like, you know, riveted. There's an example right here. Oh, you have it. See, he saved his. See, I would have deleted that. But hey, you know, once I got the information, it's like, all right, it's all gone. But it's just like amazing how technology, how technology has just brought us all closer together. And some people are really using it and really entertaining and sort of like reaching out and broadening their reach through the internet and new forms of entertainment and communication. So it's just amazing to me that it's an open field out there and everyone can now take advantage of that stuff.
Well, it's just I think it's just a matter of time before it's already happening. Your telephone, your internet, and your television are all becoming one technology.
Right.
And
like we mentioned before, it's really easy to get started and do something like this all on your own. And it's, you know, it just takes an idea, you know, kind of like this show.
Right.
Started out as an idea, and it's, you know, it keeps growing and growing and growing.
Here we are, 178 shows later.
Who would have thought? And it's kind of like, that's all you need to like sort of like really get started. That and, you know, the access to the information. Like there's so many websites that actually will show you how to create these blog TV shows or these websites, which I think is brilliant. And there's hundreds of them that just will take you step by step. And
the simple interface. It's pretty much just, you know, you sign up and you type.
And you type. And or you say something to the camera and people will listen and check in and you know and just want to comment on what you have to say. Do you blog?
A little bit.
Yeah. We should put a blog on our page.
It's coming.
We should do that, because then that way we can incorporate, you know, comments that you know callers might have, or you know, and it'll be a great way. And then that way people can really like, you know, tell us what they think of you or I.
Yes.
You know.
Well, there is a comment. There is a comment feature on the www.talkingabout.info.
You're absolutely right. Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, and we want to hear those comments. And, you know, just keep it clean and don't be mean. That's
yes, we want to make the show as interactive as possible, and we invite all of your comments. So please feel free to always. You know,
I mean, if the studio were set up with Wi-Fi, I would have a small laptop here. This way we could get feedback on the fly. It's coming, I'm sure, but not yet here.
Right. Yeah. We can hope.
We can hope.
We can hope and keep our fingers crossed that it's going that direction. But what's really great and what I really like is that anyone can do this nowadays, and that's what's really fantastic to me. There's just a really great advent out there, so that everyone can have a voice, which is very important. Because I think if you have something relevant to share, and you can be part of a larger community, that's a great feeling.
Yes.
You know? Having something to say and getting it out there, having it heard, and just prepare yourself for the pitfalls of, like, you know, putting yourself out there like a
right.
target.
Yeah, not exactly. Not every comment is nice. Yeah, not everybody. Yeah. Right. Say what you mean, but don't say it mean. Not everybody follows that.
Exactly.
So, you know, be prepared for a few harsh comments.
Yeah. Keep those to a minimum.
And we do want to hear your comments.
Sure.
As well. We are live on August 28th, 2008. 718-460-9802. Feel free to call in and tell us how you're using technology to get your point of view across, or to experience other people's point of view.
Absolutely.
You know, what's your favorite podcast? You know, what do you want to hear? You know, how do you feel about Yeah, the internet affecting the election process.
Right, exactly.
That's-
Exactly, because it's totally impacting it. I mean, it's like I've been watching.
Well, we
the,
noticed that 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, just if it wasn't for one bad microphone, Howard Dean might have made it to president.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is equally scary. But yeah, he was steamrolling because of the internet.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you know, McCain and Obama have both had certain successes on YouTube.
Hmm.
Some hits and misses and a lot of support out there, and we've seen it. But it's just great that there are these platforms for them and these places that they can utilize and get more information and so forth. And you know, I just think it's funny when it goes really badly. You know, like when something just really doesn't click on the internet, or like, you know, it's like I'm not a big fan of all those like hitting somebody with something and then just posting it on the internet.
Oh, the nut shot.
No, what's that? Dude, what's that all about?
I guess people just like to see people keeling over and in pain, but that became big with the home video shows too.
Is that where that started?
Well, a lot of it came from there. I mean, there was always somebody writhing in pain on the ground
yeah,
in
but those
every
people
one
win
of
a
those.
prize. When you're on the internet, you don't win anything.
You get laughed at.
You get laughed at. And then I have to like get all this viral messaging, like, you know, your buddies all send you like, you know, check this out. And it's like, you know, that's the only thing about the internet I don't like, spam, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, send out links to our show.
Yeah, send out links to our show. That we encourage you to do. Yeah, absolutely.
So, where do you think this is all headed?
Well, you know what? It's really kind of funny because I am a technologies guy. I love technology and everything that it can mean. And I'm scared that we would become a culture or society that sort of like becomes separate from communicating to one another in this sort of venue.
Interpersonally.
Right, exactly. Because, I mean, even this exchange, you know, I mean, we talk all the time, but this is a different exchange because there's cameras on us.
Yeah, how often do we text message though?
All the time.
Exactly.
It's like you're running up my bill. But it's kind of like, I would hate for us to become that kind of a culture where we let the technology take over and we sort of like separate in that capacity, because, you know, there is nothing like human exchange. There's nothing like talking to someone face to face and having that happen. But where I think we're going and where I think it's fantastic is that the internet does bring us closer, because, you know, now someone on the other side of the world is no longer a stranger.
True.
You know, it's you're instantly connected, whether it's via a blog that you share, or if you webcam or webcam information, or even share a blog, a video blog that gets comments on there. We're all interconnected in that capacity. So I think in that direction, it's great. You know, I give it up to that. It's how we use it.
Right, but then on the other hand, people aren't necessarily going out and meeting people. They're flipping through photos on a dating site.
Right, which is the thing that frightens me about the internet in that capacity, because it's very cold and it's very detached. It's like, you know, we're setting ourselves up sort of like on those websites as a criteria. You exist in this box, you know, as opposed to like what we're doing. We're kind of like, you know, if there's anyone out there who wants to date us, this is kind of like what we're like. So it's kind of like
Exactly.
It's like, you know, this is what you see. So it's like, you know. But it's you know, that's a frightening part about the internet, because it's like you can be anything you want to be. I mean, look at a lot of things that I ran across also when I was doing my internet.
But you're not
research.
always all you claim to be.
I am. I don't claim to be anything but me. So it's kind of like, you know, what the hey. There's a lot of internet sites now where they sort of have this new thing called avatars. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I've seen those.
Like you create this whole other life and existence, and you exist on another sort of like internet plane.
Yeah.
Okay, this world needs a lot of help.
But please don't leave reality.
Especially during your work time. I mean, come on, you know, it's kind of odd to me that someone could be that immersed in a whole other existence on a fictional world. I mean, come on, people, read a book. You know, it's, you know, Harry Potter is good the 10th time you read it. It's good the 17th time, but, you know, put the book down and come back into reality, as opposed to like having this whole other second life on the internet. That's frightening. That's detached.
Yeah, it is, and it's increasing.
Absolutely, and it's kind of like, you know, I applaud parents that sort of like control how much time their kids have on the internet. You know, but can you really control it? I mean, it's like you go to schools now and kids have laptops all the time and have access to iPhones and any kind of Wi-Fi device. So,
Right.
so they're pretty much connected all day long.
Right, but they're not connecting.
But they're not connecting, right? It's like, we're almost forgetting to have the youth socialize. We're not teaching those skills.
Go out and play.
Go out and play. Go out and play. Join local organizations. Do something where you interact. On a face-to-face basis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go get outside. Don't
But look,
spend-
yeah, I mean, we just recently had somebody from a youth center here.
Exactly.
So very recently.
It all comes full circle.
It all comes full circle.
Exactly. And that's very important. It's very important that we don't take those things for granted and that we integrate the technologies that we are getting and that we have access to, but still maintain our social experiences because, we can't survive just via screen.
Right.
You know.
But we still want you to check out our website and watch our show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But just not necessarily 24 hours a day.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a whole other show. That's a whole other show and a whole lot more money. So it's kind of like, I'm kidding. No, seriously. It's like, I don't have that kind of a website.
Anymore.
Look at this guy. It throws me to the wolves. Throws me to the wolves. But no, I think it's a wonderful thing that as long as we take advantage of the internet and really every advantage that we have out there to put your voice out there, especially right now. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And you're obviously maximizing your web time.
Well, like I mentioned before, I have my homepage that I'm constantly blogging on and working on, but I've been invited by Here Networks to now showcase my own podcast, which will be premiering soon, and it gives me another platform for communicating with an audience out there, and,
Right.
and sort of like having then put myself in a position where people can comment on things I have to say, which could be precarious at best, but
I'm frightened.
no, don't be frightened.
No.
We do all kinds of things, and it's it's a great talk show format.
Yeah, well, it's through
And
HereTV.com.
It's through you just go to HereTV.com, and it's on
There's
Here
a podcast
Networks.
link on there.
There are. Then there's
Yeah,
so many
and
other
as-
podcasts on there.
Exactly.
That not only support the programming on the network, but original podcasts by other podcast artists that have things of their own to say. So there's something on there for everybody, which is great.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it reaches every aspect of different communities.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I mean, there's literally something for everybody, and more.
Exactly, and and I think that's kind of like where entertainment is going, and it's going to continue to expand in that direction where we're going to start probably detaching from our television sets and regularly scheduled programming.
Well, that's already happening. I mean, I have DVR at home.
You're not a slave to your television.
the one with the famous brand name, and ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop.
I love that little sound. I wonder if they copyrighted that.
I think so.
Did they?
I think so.
So like if you hear it on something else, you have to pay for that sound?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you just did the sound, so
But
like now we have to pay
I didn't
them?
play back the sound. I did my own verbal interpretation of that sound.
We're going to get a phone call tomorrow
Yeah.
about the sound used, so it's like great.
We're going on a tangent here.
No,
but it just goes back to not knowing. I hardly know when anything is on at their specific linear time anymore.
Right.
Just because I can record by actor keyword or title
Sure.
simple thing, and it learns what I like.
Exactly. Yeah, just from the patterns of what you've been watching.
So so it is recording it, and there was a lot of controversy with that also because just going back a couple of years to the Janet Jackson incident.
The wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, the wardrobe malfunction. Yeah, that was apparently the most replayed moment of that time.
Never mind incorporating how many times it was downloaded on the internet.
Right, but just up until they released that information,
Right.
the owners of these products didn't know that was being recorded. So this has been replayed 200 million times. I'm just throwing that number out. But they had an actual number. So is that getting to be Big Brother-ish?
Well, you have to wonder because I mean it's like just the iPhone. It's got a technology that tracks you and tracks a lot of information.
There's every cell phone you can be tracked.
Absolutely, yeah. But there's, is that something we should be scared of? That, I mean, I guess unless you're running from the law.
Yeah, no, not anymore.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like we don't have anything to worry about anymore. So, that's a good thing. But should we feel that then there's too much information that is out there about us?
There's always plenty, and we want to hear your information at 718-460-9802. Just feel free to chime in, give us a call. We want to know how technology is changing your life.
Mm-hmm. And how you feel you can contribute to technology's changing, or even if you want some advice on how to have your own podcast or
blog or anything.
Do you have a favorite blog?
Actually, I used to download the BBC News all the time.
Oh yeah, sure.
So that they had a little video segment that they experimented with it for about 9 months.
Right.
And then they said, okay, we're going to look at the data from what we just did, and that was a year ago, and it never resurfaced. But I used to love watching that every day because it was giving me the news from a different perspective. Because American news gives you a sanitized view of what's going on here. It doesn't give you the world's view of us.
Exactly, yeah.
So I like things like that, and that's just one of the things that you can find there. And of course, there's the Doctor Who pods. So, and we do have a phone call apparently. It's 718-460-9802. Caller, whenever you're ready, say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How's everything?
Okay, you have a question or a comment?
Well, basically, I just wanted to let you know, just by me calling in and following through with connecting with you through the television, through the telephone, we're actually living out the future right now.
It's true. This is interactive television.
Exactly, yeah. You're now part of our show.
That's why I called in.
Okay. And we do appreciate that. If you were to do some sort of podcast, blog, what would be of your interest?
Well, that's the funny thing. I wanted to do some sort of blog because one of my college professors said he gave it to us for optional assignment. But the thing was, there's so many different things you could do a blog on. I didn't do one.
Well, when you're in your reality life, what do you do in your spare time? What interests you? What gets you excited about life? And keep that clean.
Well, what I like to do is I like to talk, and I like to really listen to other people.
So one of the things I would suggest to you is, and what would be a great blog is, just start writing about something in current event that you reacted to it or you feel very emotional about or very impacted by, and open that up so that other people can comment on what you're saying and see and start metering, because it's really kind of interesting as to what happens when you start, you have one train of thought and all of a sudden everyone starts responding to it. It starts influencing almost like the way you perceive something.
Right, and what you put out there, because you see what gets a reaction. If you just want that reaction, you can put things out just for the reaction, or you could just put things out for the sake of being honest and getting your point of view across. Depends on what you want.
Yeah.
Well, how fast do you need to respond to people? Because I have the train of thought basically that the way we live nowadays, if somebody gives a comment on your blog, you should immediately get back to them.
Well, what I've noticed on the internet as well is someone will post something or an original thought and then just spend an entire day letting other people comment on it. And then the next day, they'll sort of respond to all those responses. So it's because you want to see, you don't want to be instantaneous and spend your entire 24 hours just responding immediately. I mean, that's really polite, but you kind of want to see how many different sort of responses you may get to what your original thought was. So maybe give it 24 hours and then come back to it, because you may also feel completely different about what you posted 24 hours before.
Right, you could be really steamed up about something or really passionate about something, and then the next day,
it fizzled out.
Yeah. And you may get a huge reaction, you may get no reaction, but keep at it, because it's even if it's just a way to express yourself, just to get your thoughts and feelings out of you in a creative way, do it for yourself.
Okay, well, it sounds good. I just wanted to commend you all. I think it's a pretty good show. Sitting now, got my kids going to sleep, and here I am getting some information from off TV. Can't beat that.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, and keep checking out our website, which is www.talkingabout.info, and that will be up again at the end of the show.
All right. When are you all on? Is this every?
We're usually on the fourth Thursday of the month. We will be on in September, but October and November, that's going to be a little bit different. But Sunday at 11:30 and Tuesday at 11:30, we're on taped.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, fella.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See?
So yeah, interactive.
Absolutely.
And that's really the future. I mean, they keep talking about also with the pre-recorded programs how you're going to be able to select different angles, and yeah, it could possibly take more of the form of video games.
Exactly. Yeah, where you're sort of like in the picture, or like you're interacting, like you just want to see something from the angle of your favorite character, or from their perspective. Yeah, exactly. That's that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, there's just so much that's coming. I mean, there's so much that's already here. And just in the last 2 minutes that we have, your personal website again.
My homepage is www.thrillseekerhq.com, and that's where I usually post a lot of my entertaining tidbits, like things that I'm doing or things that are going on or things that I feel passionate about.
Mm-hmm. And our website here again is www.talkingabout.info. That has a link to the Thrill Seeker site, as well as the show's MySpace.
Right.
And just any feedback that you want to give us, you can give us through that website, www.talkingabout.info, or the Thrill Seeker HQ's
Absolutely, yeah.
site.
I welcome it.
And say 1 year from now, if we were to follow up on this topic, what new information do you think that we're going to have?
Well, I certainly hope we aren't going to be like inserting chips, and like and that's going to be the instant transfer of information.
Data port.
Data ports. I don't think I'm ready for a data port. Not looking forward to that. No, definitely not. No, but I just hope that we reach people out there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's all about. I mean, we try to bring you the personalities, we try to bring you the community service groups, and we try to just have a little fun every now and then, which is what
every now and then,
which is what this show is all about.
Absolutely.
And and we want your input, we want your suggestions. www.talkingabout.info. There's a comment page on there. Comment back to us, and we're out of time.
It's a non-stop thrill ride.
Exactly. Well, you are the thrill seeker.
Well, that's what they say.
And this is JC Alvarez. I'm John Griffith. Blah, 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 blah.
Charlie.
Thank you for joining us. I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Woohoo.
He doesn't really have a naughty side.
I don't.